Marble is one of the most expensive rocks in the world. A single block like this can cost $500,000. The ancient Romans built the Pantheon with it, and today it is still used in some of the most important buildings on the planet. Every day, 500 tons of marble are extracted from the mountain. It takes enormous machines, powerful explosives, and a level of precision that leaves no room for mistakes. But how is marble actually extracted from the quarries? We visited a factory to discover how they cut, shape, and polish one of the most valuable stones in the world. In northwestern Italy, there is one of the largest marble deposits on Earth. Marble has been extracted here since Roman times. At about 1,700 meters above sea level, high in the mountains, lies one of the biggest marble quarries in the world. In the northern hills of Italy, the famous white Carrara marble has been extracted for centuries. A bright white line crowns the mountains rising above the city of Carrara. From far away, it almost looks like snow covering the peaks. But these are not snowy mountains. They are mountains made almost entirely of marble. This place was once an ancient seabed covered with shells. But over more than 140 million years, those shells were transformed by enormous tectonic forces into towering peaks of pure white stone. The marble from this region is prized all over the world for its purity, its bright white color, and its long history. The quarries of Carrara have produced more marble than almost any other place on Earth. The quarry as a whole is valued at more than 1 billion euros and produces around 4 million tons of marble every year. A single slab can cost up to $400 per square meter, and throughout history, this marble has been used to create some of the world's most important works, including the Pantheon in Rome and Michelangelo's iconic statue of David. With massive machines, workers tear the valuable rock from the mountain and transport it down dangerous, winding roads to the valley below. From there, the marble begins its journey around the world. The roads are steep, narrow, and full of dangerous curves. Every day, around 600 trucks travel along these mountain roads, and each one carries about 50 tons of marble. This quarry has 25 levels. Each level is about 8 meters high, and the total height of the quarry is around 200 meters. The first stage of extraction begins with drilling. Miners use heavy drills to make strategic holes in the mountain. To extract the marble, they first have to blast away a new section of rock. A shipment of 75 kilograms of explosives has just arrived. These explosives will be placed inside the wall of rock. The holes where the explosives are inserted are about 3 meters deep. In order to break the rock properly, the explosion has to happen deep inside the mountain. Once the blasting is complete, the extraction of the marble blocks begins. Every day, around 500 tons of marble are cut from the mountain. But to cut it without damaging it, workers use a cutting cable that passes through the marble almost like a wire cutting through cheese. This cable is made of reinforced steel and is covered with round beads embedded with one of the hardest materials in existence, synthetic diamonds. There are several methods used to extract marble. To cut a block from the mountain, workers can use a chainsaw that can penetrate up to 5 meters deep into the stone, or they can use a 5mm diamond wire saw. To extract the marble, the quarry worker drills 3 holes, 1 vertical hole from the top and 2 holes from the base. Then, a long saw mounted on rails makes a horizontal cut along the lower part of the rock. Once this cut is complete, the operation moves to the top. A worker feeds a diamond cable through the rock in order to cut the back section. The ends of the cable are connected, and then the cable is attached to the flywheel of a 50 horsepower motor. With this machine, workers can cut into the mountain with extremely high precision. As the cable rotates, it cuts through the rock while being continuously lubricated with water. The water helps cool the cable and acts as a lubricant during the cutting process. This same technique is repeated twice more to cut the remaining sides until the block is completely separated from the mountain. At full power, the diamond-reinforced cable can cut at speeds of up to 45 meters per second. In some cases, massive chainsaws are used to cut extremely heavy blocks. The cutting machine can take up to 10 hours to pass through the marble. When the 2 cuts finally meet, the marble block is ready to be extracted. The next step is to pull the giant block away from the mountainside. This piece weighs around 500 tons, and it is so firmly attached to the mountain that even an excavator would not be able to pry it loose by force alone. The ancient Romans sometimes inserted wooden wedges into cracks in the marble and then soaked them with water. As the wood expanded, it slowly separated the rock. Today, instead of wood, workers use hydraulic cushions. These are inserted into the cracks and then inflated to push the marble away from the mountain. Workers place stones into the opening so the marble does not move back into place. As the cushions expand, they insert larger and larger stones to keep the gap open. They continue this process until the opening is wide enough to bring in heavy machinery. Then the excavator goes into action. It pushes carefully until the marble begins to balance on the edge. At this moment, the workers have to be extremely careful. If the block hits the ground too hard, it could break into pieces. To protect the marble, they prepare a cushion of sand and mud to soften the fall. With a value that can reach around 1.5 million euros, it is critical that the block lands correctly. The machinery pushes it gently, little by little, until the giant block finally falls onto the soft mound of earth below. The massive block of marble has survived without damage. Each block can be around 8 meters high, 6 meters wide, and weigh about 500 tons. But these blocks are too large to transport in one piece, so they are cut into smaller sections weighing around 18 tons each. Marble is usually cut vertically, although in some cases horizontal cuts are also used. The method depends on the shape and structure of the quarry area. Workers use diamond cutting machines to remove defective sections and prepare the blocks for transport. Once the marble has been cut into smaller blocks, it has to be moved onto trucks using excavators. Often, the pieces are so large and heavy that even the excavator bucket struggles to lift them. When this happens, the blocks are cut again with the diamond saw. In the past, marble blocks were sometimes slid down the mountain. Today, they are loaded onto trucks with extreme care. Dump trucks are loaded slowly, and depending on the size and weight of the marble, it can sometimes take 2 excavators to move a single block. The dump trucks transport the marble blocks from the upper levels down to the lower section of the quarry. There, the blocks are washed after the extraction process. Before the marble is moved again, specialists take measurements to give each block the correct shape using the proper cutting method. Because of their enormous size and weight, the blocks must be handled with special machinery during loading, unloading, and processing. Once the sorting process is complete, huge loaders place the blocks onto trucks that will carry them down the winding road toward Carrara. Every trip from the quarry to the valley is extremely dangerous. The smallest mistake can be fatal. Around 600 trucks drive through these roads every day. Once the marble blocks are loaded, they are taken either to factories or to the port of Carrara. After a 45-minute journey, the trucks bring the marble to the factory, where it will be transformed into some of the most expensive marble slabs in the world. Just one slab can cost more than $1,000. Depending on how the marble is extracted and its quality, some blocks are far more expensive than others. For example, a slab of Carrara marble can cost more than $10,000 per ton. Last year, around 1.2 million tons of marble blocks crossed the Italian border and were shipped to countries like China, the United States, and Germany. The rest goes to local companies and artisan workshops spread along the coastal towns of western Tuscany. The blocks are usually stored outdoors in a block yard until the next stage of production. The marble stays there until an order arrives. Then, depending on the customer's request, the block is cut into the exact size needed to decorate the walls, floors, or interiors of elegant buildings. In the sawing area, the blocks are cut into smaller slabs using 76 diamond saws. These saws can cut slabs as thin as 2 centimeters. After that, the slabs are prepared for shaping and polishing. The polishing process brings out the natural shine of the marble, leaving the surface smooth, bright, and reflective. Each slab is polished and cut according to the requested size. The workers who handle Carrara marble are continuing an ancient craft tradition that has been passed down for generations. Their work connects modern machinery with centuries of human skill. The journey of the marble ends at the port of Carrara, where the finished pieces are loaded onto ships and transported to the designers and builders of some of the most exclusive buildings in the world. From a mountain that was once an ancient seabed, marble travels through explosions, diamond saws, dangerous roads, factories, polishing machines, and ships before finally becoming part of luxury homes, monuments, hotels, and landmarks across the planet. Like the video if you enjoyed it and share it with someone who might find it interesting. Also, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications to keep learning. See you next time!